If you're not all that familiar with Critical Role, you would be forgiven for not having heard of the Darrington Brigade. This is basically a spin-off group of adventurers from their very first campaign. It was kind of slowly building up in the background of that first campaign, and then in 2019, the Darrington Brigade featured in a live show that they performed in Austin, Texas. Now, if you're not interested in the actual Critical Role characters, you might still be interested in using these quite unique minis as the basis for characters of your own design. Either way, I think you should see these minis. There will be some character spoilers for Taryon from Campaign 1, so be aware of that. But before we jump in, another thing that you should see is our series of free D&D and Pathfinder content called Bonfire Bites. We release a new magic item or monster each and every week. You can find them on our social media platforms over here, or over on our own subreddit at r/thegallantgoblin. And you can get extra bonus materials over on our Patreon. All of those links are down below. But tonight we feast on an evil most foul as we take a closer look at the Darrington Brigade. Today's video is brought to you by Hit Point Press. The deck of many animated 5e reference cards can bring even more magic to your games, and they make fantastic gifts. Get animated spell cards, condition cards, or townsfolk NPCs. You can even get in-game items like the Deck of Illusions and the Deck of Many Things. Get your deck of many animated cards using the info icon in the corner or in the doohickey down below. Sir Taryon Darrington is a human artificer played by Sam Riegel in the first campaign of Critical Role and in the Brigade Special. He's a handsome man of not so humble means who wants to be a famous adventurer, preferably without getting his hands dirty. After learning some lessons from Vox Machina, he returned home to start an adventuring party of his own. Doty here is Taryon's mechanical servant, scribe, and possibly his only true friend. There have been quite a few iterations of Doty over the years, but only one of them, Doty 4.0, tried to murder him. This mini makes a great construct for your Artificer, or your Pathfinder Inventor, or even your Starfinder games. Lawrence Darrington is Taryon's husband, who was originally hired by Taryon's dad as a tutor. They got married between Campaign 1 and the beginning of Campaign 2. He was an NPC in the adventure and was played by Matt Mercer. Outside of Critical Role, this would make it for a pretty great noble mini. So this character isn't called the Dark Owl in the actual adventure. He's called the Owlbear, but D&D, OGL, copyright, yada yada yada. The Owlbear is a fantastic human barbarian rogue played by Taliesin Jaffe. He's kind of like if Batman really liked puns. And apparently he's quite good at squatting based on this mini. This can also be a generic ranger type mini. Damien Vedoma is a half-elf gangster fighter played by Ashley Johnson. When the Critical Role team doesn't have to make characters that they plan to play long-term, they really let loose with their creativity. This would also make for a great human or elf rogue mini. Next up is Fairywind Breeze, an Air Genasi monk played by Laura Bailey. This one is maybe my favorite mini in this set. The light coloring of her clothes and her hair makes her really pop on the table. And if you want to roleplay her as Laura Bailey did, you just have to learn an Irish accent. Okay, maybe this one is my favorite mini. Hazel Copperpot, the dwarf bard who couldn't pick just one instrument, and is played by Marisha Ray like an old-timey radio performer with a slide whistle and a tambourine. Sure, it's a very specific character, but how much fun would it be to play Hazel Copperpot in an adventure? Just remember that you're never fully dressed without a smile. And this is Macaroni Samsoite, the halfling cleric played by Travis Willingham. Macaroni is kind of feral. One interesting thing to note is that his Spirit Guardian spell deals necrotic damage, so he's probably evil. But he's not so evil that he doesn't have a friend. In fact, he has a best buddy. And that buddy is Buddy, the quite nearsighted ogre fighter played by Liam O'Brien. How Buddy and Macaroni became friends is a little bit of a mystery, but now Macaroni rides into battle in a branded chariot carried around on Buddy's back. If you have this mini and don't introduce it into your campaign in some way or another, what are you even doing? This mini needs to hit your table. If you're running offshoot Critical Role campaigns set in Tal'Dorei or Wildemount, I have to imagine that you love to bring in these characters, even if they're just for cameos. If you're in a different setting, you can certainly watch the Darrington Brigade special and then use these characters as a rival adventuring party in your own stories, or of course, just repurpose the minis for your own creative use. I do wonder, is anyone out there in Goblinshire running a Critical Role campaign, either one of their own or Call of the Netherdeep? If so, please let me know down below. Critical Role, the Darrington Brigade, is available nowish for between 60 and 70 bucks. Let me know what you think about them in the comment section down below. And remember to pick up your free 5e or Pathfinder magic items or monsters on our social media pages or over on Reddit at r/thegallantgoblin. Finally, check out the animated cards from our sponsor Hit Point Press, and don't miss their new adventure Heckna, which is absolutely amazing if you like that dark carnival vibe. We'll be talking more about it this month, so stay tuned for that. For now though, please stay safe, have fun, love each other, and I will see you next time at the Gallant Goblin.